Hey guys, I just wanted to clear up a last video I did. I didn't give you all the ins and outs of reloading. I gave you a basic reloading tutorial, and I wanted to mention a couple of things. You see people reloading, they have videos up about reloading shotgun shells in the field. Mostly what they're using is black powder, because the equivalents of regular powder like tight wad or long shot, the grains, they couldn't match that out in the field very easily. You'd need a scale. And then they go and they bring a bunch of stuff out in the field in a kit, you know, something to knock out the primer, something to reseat the primer. Powder measures, shot, wads, over under patches, glue, you know, just light up and seal up with a glue stick. It makes no sense to me why you would go through all of that to reload a shotgun shell. There's something that they don't have. This little piece right here where my finger is. I'll get you a close-up on it. It's called the shell resizer. Okay, this little piece right here. Let's see if I can get you a clear picture on that. And what that does is when it comes up, it resizes the shot shell. Okay, that's important for getting the round in and out of your firearm. They don't have that in the field. Now they do make, Mech makes one where you mount it to a board and it's just a lever to resize. But if you're going to go through all that, I have to ask you a question. Why would you go out in the woods and you carry all that stuff with you when you could reload inside a house or inside a camp base with a reloader, changing out your shot patterns, whatever you want to do, if you have the powder in the shot? This is easier to make 25 rounds, but then again, if you're carrying a box of shells, how many shots are you going to need out in the woods? I mean, they always give you this lost survivor, I'm going to reload. Well, realistically, I mean, why? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, is it when the shit hits the fan and everybody leaves and runs off into the woods with their backpack scenario stupidity? I mean, if I were to leave my house and I'm never coming back, this is going with me, along with every shot shell that I have, which is thousands. If I have to reload, I reload. Right now I've made over 200 rounds. When I finished up this box, this I thought was a pretty cool thing. It's called the Easy Stacker. It's a Mech Easy Stack. And then when you get done with the last, you know, you fill it up to 25, and then you just slide it in a box. But I'm going to make a couple here real quick to show you the reason why. This is not only just punches out the primer, it also resizes this. Resizes your brass right here. And that's important. Shot shell complete. I'll finish this box up and show you this little easy Mech Easy Loader. I tried to do some steel shot, but I don't think I have all the recipe down correctly yet, so I'm going to hold off on doing a video on that until I totally figure it out right. I didn't get my crimps right, so I'm thinking maybe I need a over the shot wad or a 10 gauge wad or something. I don't know. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. Those are done. So then what you do is you just take a box. I got lots of these boxes. Picked them up for nothing. Take the whole stack. slide it in there. Now that box is complete. And then what I do is I take a Sharpie and I mark on the box what it is inside that box, so there's no confusion. It is a 12 gauge, it is 2 3/4. It is 1 ounce load with 1 ounce of shot at number 4. That tells me what it is. I just stick them down here with the rest of them. And that gives me, right now I have 200 rounds loaded. I gave away 50 to a friend of mine. I did buy the charge bar for steel, but like I said, I was getting what I call over crimp. These are Fiocchi 2 3/4 shot shells, pre-primed with their primer, 616 primer, but I'm missing something in here. That's pretty loose. I got the TPS wads. It's just something is going on. Either I know I'm getting the right amount of shot. This is number 2 steel with a 27 grain of long shot powder, which requires me to change my bushing to a 27 on this one, which this is the 27 bushing for that. But until I find out, I might need an over-the-shot card to take up that space, or something above the powder, which would be a over the powder wad, then my regular wad. I don't know. A little bit more research and I'll get into it before I start wasting rounds and stuff. This one crimped down fairly good. I popped it open for a second to check everything, but I really didn't like it when it was all said and done. It's just not right to me. But I thought I'd go over that, and I just don't get the whole scenario of carrying all that other stuff in the woods to make a shot shell, unless you're going out in the woods and you only have what, 1 round and you're going to keep reloading it. What, 5 rounds? I don't know. Box of shells is nothing. I can sit and make them up and then take a box, but quite honestly, how often are you going to go through a box? Some of my friends that are dove hunters, they'll go through a case of shells in a day, but then again, they're not in a survival situation. I swear to God, I'm laughing at the stuff because everything is survival, survival, survival. You throw the term survival on something and all of a sudden it becomes more important, I guess, which really isn't. If you're going to bug out, what does that mean? You're going to throw everything in a pack? No, I'm going to, if I have to leave this area, I know where I'm going. I got a trailer out there that's 14 foot long. I got 2 vehicles. I got a boat that I can load. Almost everything that I own that's going to be for survival is going with me, including this, my powder, my shot, my arrows, my 17 bows, my 41 guns. I mean, my tree stands and suits and backpacks, and you can't just throw that in your backpack and head on out into the woods. So, and I was kind of shocked that the guy had 159,000 views on it, and I'm laughing. I'm going, really? There's 159,000 idiots that really think they want to reload a shot shell out in the woods and carry this item to knock out the primer, this other thing to help seat the primer, powder measures, powder shot, wool muslin to stuff in for the overshot, glue stick that you can heat up to seal that up. That's fucking stupid. Quite honestly, it's stupid. But to each their own, I guess. I'm still in the course of learning this. I'm having fun doing it. Like I said, steel is my next thing. I really want to get into steel. I got all the components for it. I think I might be missing one though. And that's one or the other. But I like that because I don't, with the new shells, I don't have to go through these 2 stages because they've never been fired, but they are primed. So it's just into this one. Another adjustment on here to lower my ram down so it seats the wad all the way. This one I like about this Meg, it tells you in poundage how much force you've put on it. And all I have to do is see this little meter bump a little bit, and I know that my wad is perfectly seated on my shot shell. Without too much pressures. And that's one of the things you got to get into. If you look at the books on recipes, you're dealing with velocities, feet per second, Steel shot is different because you need a higher velocity but a lower powder or a lower burning powder to make it work. So it's a slower powder. Whereas, you know, you get into lead, you want a higher powder rate and a different pressure, you know, or you try to stay around 10,005 psi on that, whereas, you know, with steel, you want almost 15,000 feet per second, or 1,500 feet per second at 10,000 psi. You want to be somewhere in the 10 to 11,000 psi range, which requires you to change not only your primers, change your powder. You got to change hulls, because my 2 3/4 STSs are not designed, even though they do make a nice steel round. I got a feeling that's a one-shotter. It's not something that you're going to reload a lot, because that's steel right there. There's steel shot in there, and that crimped out real nice. But I got a feeling it's not going to handle the pressures. I'll probably still be like with that about 1,100 feet per second, which with steel is not enough oomph to knock down a targeted bird, which is that's for ducks and geese. You got to get to the 15,000 range for that. And just whereas lead, lot more density. It does, you know, spread out or wad out, as you would say, on impact, where steel's just going to fly right to the bird. People are talking about they've seen the birds fly off with just feathers knocked off of them. Some people have claimed they don't even penetrate a goose with steel if it's not in a 3-inch Magnum type round, which, you know, go out and buy some steel Magnum. I got, I don't know, 25 boxes maybe. So I'll probably just be doing that for ducks and geese this year, and work on this little disaster as time goes on. But I just wanted to cover a couple of points with you here. I can resize, I can reprime, I can load all my stuff up and crimp faster than these guys can even get the primer out. What makes sense to you guys? I didn't talk about bars. There's all different sized bars. This one is for lead shot because it's red. Steels are usually a different color, and they flat out have the warning on them, used for steel shot only. You have bushings that go inside here, which is your powder measure drop. That one goes there. I put baffles on these just to keep the shot powder from stacking up. It's a baffle system. But I have every bushing from, I'd like to say 10 to 37, somewhere in there. I'm thinking about getting a 410 reloader too, and just having some fun with my 410. But, you know, to each their own. I just wanted to clarify a couple things that I can do on this that they can't begin to do. And I'm hoping you're going to learn something and do it safely. Because quite honestly, you're dealing with this type of powder as opposed to black powder. It's a whole different ball game. Like I said, I know pretty much on a shotgun shell, like say a brass Magtech high brass shell, you could probably do 100 pounds or 100 grains of black powder Pyrodex, work just fine, and then 100 grains of BBs or whatever you wanted to do. I mean, put in some BBs and make it up. But quite honestly, that's totally different, because you put 100 grains of this powder into it, you blow the barrel apart. You're gonna probably hurt yourself really, really bad doing it. But definitely you're gonna blow your gun up, because you're talking pressures beyond pressures. I'm using right now 16.4 grains with a 26 bushing in here. So 16.4 grains as opposed to 100. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but I'm getting right now with this load 11,000 psi at about 12 to 1,300 feet per second. You would go well beyond that, to the point that your barrel couldn't even handle that. And the reason why this resizes just helps your gun load. I mean, a lot of these guys are saying, well, now that the shot is fitted to my barrel, yeah, that's great, but I'm not a single shot user. I like follow-up rounds, so I don't understand that. And two, I don't want to have to try to work that shot shell out of my shotgun. Now they'll keep showing you videos where it just pops out. That's great, you know. Also with these shells, and I don't care what people say, these shells can only be, you know, with a field load 5 or 6 times, maybe 7. Then you start seeing cracks. On a steel load shot, no. So one time, pretty much you might get 1 reload out of it, but after that, the plastic is not strong enough to handle the load calibrations of steel, plus the fact that you want a full wad. And this is what they won't tell you. You know, he's loading BBs. He's loading these type of BBs in there. Do you know what those type of BBs will do to the inside of a barrel? Read Lyman Shot Shell Reloading Manual number 5. Flat out tells you you don't want the shot to go higher than their wad, because you want the wad to carry it out of your barrel so that the BBs aren't scratching and scraping the hell out of your barrel, especially with steel. Lead's a little different, but you know, it's the same flavor, but you won't have as much problem with it. Where steel, you will have a problem with it. So now he's telling you, go out there, take out your favorite shotgun and start reloading with steel BBs, and don't have any cup in there to keep those pellets from blowing down your barrel and scraping the hell out of your barrel. He's telling you to ruin your shotgun too. I have 5 12 gauges and a 410, and I sure shit ain't gonna ruin any of my shotguns by doing something stupid. So that's just another thing you might want to consider. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to clear it up of why I have certain things on here and how they're much easier and probably safer to play with than any of that stupid stuff of reloading this in the field, that in the field, all this reloading in the field, when you could just bring. See, it has to come right up to the cup. Then my cup is right there, and that's where my BBs are. Or my, at this point, number 4 chilled shot lead. It is what it is, guys. Read the manuals, and then there is another book. It's called The Art of Steel, I believe. It's all on steel reloading for waterfowl. But that's all I have for you guys today.